We have DanyTLaw. Finally. After months, it had to have been like 38,000 months. For sure, that long, at least. Trying to get him on for a long time. He's been grinding up the ladder. It's so difficult to get him because he's just busy all the time. Fantastic player, fantastic streamer. Again, he's like a top 10 Mythic player fucking every month. He's insane. He's an animal. So obviously you'll see all of his social media links and stuff in the description below. So you don't even have to worry about that. You may see it up there, down there, somewhere you'll see it. But he did okay with the deck. He said he really liked it. He had some fun. At the end of the video, we have a little interview with him to kind of talk about the changes that he made and the reasons behind those changes, which I think is the format that we're going to do going forward. So let me know what you think of that format in the description below, or let me know what you think of that in the comments section below. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and like it. We have gotten all of the hoes mad, as you can tell by the deck name. This is a super fun deck. It's not the greatest, but it's still very, very fun. It didn't do nearly as bad as we thought it was going to, but it did very good. So essentially the whole theme of the deck is to put a bunch of stuff in your graveyard and then bring it back with Eerie Ultimatum. But for the most part, we're going to put down Scholar of the Lost Trove. So when Scholar of Lost Trove enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery or artifact from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If an instant or sorcery spell is cast this way, it would be put into your graveyard, put in exile instead. Great thing. Can be good, can be bad. Eerie Ultimatum just goes to the battlefield, so even if you end up casting it, you can then, like, for example, we end up milling out a Scholar and a bunch of other stuff. A bunch of stuff is in our graveyard. What we can do is we can hard cast Eerie Ultimatum. So again, Eerie Ultimatum, return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is just really, really good. So you can get Scholar back, an Underrealm Lich, Tamiyo, Elvish Rejuvenator, various other creatures, whatever you have in the graveyard. And then, if you do get a Scholar into play from your Eerie Ultimatum, you can then cast your Eerie Ultimatum again. This can be very, very good, especially if you were able to bring back a Stitcher Supplier and a Mire Triton, because those also put cards into your graveyard when they enter the battlefield. So it's very, very good. It has some synergy in there, but just being able to get 2 Eerie Ultimatums off in the same turn without having to pay extra mana is really cool. Also, one of our main win conditions, again, is just a bunch of different lands, and we have a Field of the Dead in here. The reason we're not running 2 or 3 is because it feels really bad when we're trying to cast Eerie Ultimatum and we have a colorless land. It sucks. And that's why we ended up taking out the island as well, because if we have an island, it sucks. And there were games that we had that happen in the past. That's why we ended up taking it out. So, Stitcher Supplier, 1 black source. When it enters battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. So this just puts 3 cards in your graveyard from the top of your library. Mire Triton, 2 mana, 2/1 Death Touch, great blocker. When it enters battlefield, mill 2 cards and you gain 2 life. So not only is this a good blocker, it also gives you some life. It's actually a very, very good card. We have Elvish Rejuvenator. Not the best card, but it's still a permanent that you can get from Eerie Ultimatum, and it does get you lands onto the battlefield, which also helps with Field of the Dead. So Elvish Rejuvenator, 3 mana, 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, with the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. We have 2 Maelstrom Pulses. This is just for removal. So it's 3 mana, destroy target non-land permanent, which is fantastic. and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. So this is very good against other Field of the Dead decks, but the thing is, if we target one zombie on their side, it will kill all of our zombies on our side. So you have to keep that in mind. It's kind of why we're only running 2. But then we have Languish. Languish, I'm kind of on and off about. I don't really mind it that much because we want to kill our Stitcher Suppliers. We don't really care about them. We don't really care about the majority of these cards. But Languish, all creatures get -4/-4. It's kind of like a one-sided, it's like a Storm's Wrath, except it doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but it's for black instead of red. So all creatures getting -4/-4 is fantastic. The problem with that is that our Underrealm Lich, even though it's indestructible, doesn't get any benefit. So Languish still kills it, which that's the part that I don't really like about it, but it's kind of one of the things that you have to use because you don't have any other options. Mastermind's Acquisition, this just gets us either something specifically from our deck or something from sideboard. Great card, we'll go over the sideboard in a little bit. Tamiyo, the Collector of Tales, this feeds our graveyard, which we can get Eerie Ultimatum from, or to get stuff with Eerie Ultimatum. But Tamiyo, 4 mana Planeswalker, comes in with 5 loyalty. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. Just good because there's a lot of people running discard cards and they forget Tamiyo has text. There's people that have you sacrifice things. They also forget. Don't know why, but it's one of those things, like people forget Teferi has text or Narset has text. Like, people forget that Planeswalkers now have passive abilities. But Tamiyo's +1, choose a non-land card name, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all cards with the chosen name from among them in your hand, the rest in the graveyard. Again, usually from this you will try to name a spell, specifically a instant or sorcery rather. So usually we'll try to get Eerie Ultimatum or Casualties of War, or a Languish or a Mastermind's Acquisition. We don't care about permanents. Permanents can go in the graveyard all we want. Same with Scholar of the Lost Trove, can go in there if we want. But Eerie Ultimatum, that's what brings everything back. And again, if we get a Scholar from it, we cast Eerie Ultimatum a second time, which is a fantastic combo. Underrealm Lich, this kind of does, Tamiyo's -3. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, this can be very good to find that Eerie Ultimatum if you milled it into the bin from a Stitcher Supplier or Mire Triton or something like that. Underrealm Lich, 5 mana, 4/3 creature. A lot of people don't like it. I personally think it's a very good card. Whenever you draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So this is a replacement effect for drawing. So with this, you will never actually mill out. So against any mill decks that are going around in Historic, there actually seems to be a lot less than there was when Jumpstart first came out. When Jumpstart first came out, for the first 2 days, it was just flooded with a bunch of mill decks. But now there doesn't really seem to be very much, which is kind of interesting. We're seeing a lot of goblins right now. I digress. But then it has a pay for life. It gains indestructible till end of turn, and you tap it. This can be very good, but it can also hurt you a lot. Thing is, you want to make sure it stays alive as long as possible, so you can feed your graveyard even more. But also you can find, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, you get to pick the one you want. So this is great. Again, you can put permanents into the graveyard, so if you have an Eerie Ultimatum in your hand and you just need like 1 land, and there's 2 other permanents in there, it's perfect. You can just get that one specific card you need. It really, really helps. It's kind of like a mini Tamiyo, but you get to do it every single turn or every time you draw a card. So I really like it personally, but a lot of people don't. Casualties of War, I would love to put this up to 4 just because I think it's an amazing card, especially with everyone running Nissa. So Casualties of War at 6 mana, it's expensive, but you get to choose 1 or more. So destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. And you can do all 5 of these. You can do a combination of any of them. You can't do more than 1, but again, if Nissa is out and they made a land, you can destroy Nissa, you can destroy that land that's now a creature, and then you can destroy another land. So it can be very, very, very good. It's it has its uses in a very extreme way. It swings the tide of a battle at very, very high level at times. Again, Scholar of Lost Trove, 7 mana. It is expensive, but it's 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery or artifact card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If an instant or sorcery spell is cast this way, put it in your graveyard, exile it instead. So again, Eerie Ultimatum, we'll exile it after we cast it the second time. It's amazing. And again, just a bunch of lands. So with Mastermind's acquisition, we get a bunch of stuff from our sideboard. So we have Tormod's Crypt to exile their graveyard. We have Gravedigger's Cage, which is now very useful against goblins. Since goblin decks are a big thing now, they're bringing everything from their deck. It's like the new Winota deck. So just put Cage in, and they're kind of screwed. They still have a lot of pressure, don't get me wrong, but the goblins do spiral out of control pretty heavily, so the Cage will help at least a little bit. We have a Clear the Mind if we absolutely need to. Usually you don't at all. Again, Jace, don't really need that unless they're actually like getting rid of our Underrealm Liches, which is relatively difficult to do. They'd have to exile it or do something specific to it, like they would have to give it -4/-4, like from the Languishes, and we wouldn't be able to bring them back. So there would have to be specific ways that they kill it. So in those instances, we do have Jace. Rarely need to use it. We have an Elspeth Conqueror's Death just in case, just to exile target permanent. So if they put down anything with indestructible, like a Brash Taunter, or something big like an Ugin or an Olamog, something like that, we can actually target it and get rid of it without having to deal with anything. We have River's Rebuke. Return all non-land permanents target player controls to their hand. This is just kind of a one-sided board wipe, can be very good, especially once we make a ton of zombies with our Field of the Dead. Thought Distortion, this is good against control decks. If we're able to somehow get Masterminds off and then Thought Distortion, this can be very, very good. It exiles a bunch of stuff in their hand if they're running a lot of counter spells, because they cannot counter this. So this target opponent reveals their hand, exile all non-creature, non-land cards from that player's hand and graveyard. So this is just good if they're running Uros. It doesn't exile the Uros, but it exiles all the spells and everything that's in their graveyard that's feeding their Uros, which is still very good. We have Immortal Sun. This is just to specifically target heavy Planeswalker decks. Granted, they're going to be able to kill this pretty easily anyway if they're heavy in Planeswalker, but it will still help in short term. Planewide Celebration, this is just kind of for an obscene amount of life gain, but you get to choose 4 of any of the modes. You get to choose, again, 1 or 4. So you can create 4 2/2 citizen creature tokens, that's all colors. You can return up to 4 permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. You can proliferate 4 times, or you can gain 4 life 4 times, or you can do a mixture of any of those. Again, a maximum of 4 different modes. It's a pretty flexible card. It can be very good. We also have Zetalpa. Zetalpa, I feel, is relatively good here. It seems bad, it sounds bad, but hear me out. So Zetalpa, it's 8 mana for a 4/8 flying double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible. It's difficult to deal with because a lot of people are playing Ugin. So they'll throw down Ugin and they'll do like a -6, or worst case scenario, -7. But Zetalpa is 8 mana. So unless Ugin has already done a +1, they can't kill Zetalpa, which is very important. So we do like that a lot. So Zetalpa is kind of like a last resort kind of thing if we really, really need it, or if we know that they have Ugin and we just need something to get rid of it. Ugin, it's 8 colorless, 8 mana, 7 loyalty planeswalker. +2, it deals 3 damage to any target. It's just wonderful for a lot of things. Has a -X, to where you exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's 1 or more colors. This is fantastic in Shrine decks. Amazing against Shrine decks. Pretty good against aggro decks. If you were somehow able to even get to this point against an aggro deck, it's probably over anyway, but you know what I mean. Omniscience, this is just a huge fat bomb. If, again, for whatever reason you're able to get Omniscience out, I mean, probably won the game already, but it's a fun little thing to have out anyway. Ulamog, great creature, 10 colorless for a 10/10 indestructible. When you cast it, exile 2 target permanents. Fantastic. You can do it on lands. There's a lot of things you could do with it. Whenever Ulamog attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. It's pretty good. I don't know if you knew that, but it's pretty good. And then we have Heliod's Intervention. This is, I feel, just a necessity in most. Like, I almost want to go up to 2 of these. I really just like to main deck Heliod's Intervention. It's one of my favorite. It's just so versatile. It works a lot. Almost every deck runs enchantments, and the ones that don't, you need the life gain in. So I just find it to be very, very flexible, and it's just a very good card. So it's an X cost, double white. Choose one, destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments. Again, very good against shrine decks. Or target player gains twice X life, which can also be very, very good. But yeah, that's the deck, and it was a very fun deck. I highly recommend building it, and if you can do better than Danny, what he does later on in this video, I want to see your screenshot in the comment section below. He's a very good player, so if you do better, I want to see it. See you after the video.
Okay, let's start with Strider's deck here. It's a really interesting deck. I really like the idea with the Sinks there and playing a powerful spell from a graveyard. I had a similar idea, but Strider here definitely came up with some interesting strategy by milling your own deck. I'm definitely looking forward how this goes. Best of 1. I have to say I have no idea about the meta, so I couldn't do too many changes. I think most of the cards that I saw were pretty smart. So yeah, let's see how this goes. So here we have a 1 and a 2 drop and 2 powerful spells. I think this is okay. This is definitely okay. We are not starting, so it's not too good. In best of 1, usually coin flip is super important, right? Really good draw as well. If this is an aggressive deck, we would have our Languish here. We managed to get an Eerie in the graveyard, which is a really nice opponent already checking it. Like, huh, okay, I see what's going on. We're gonna block here. Keep filling the graveyard. Okay, triple land, not what we like to see. This would be a card I would love to see in the graveyard. I think I'm gonna shock again. Okay, here we go. We found the rights here. This was a card I didn't saw in the list, and I thought it could be really nice, especially if we have things in the graveyard, which gives this some combo potential. We keep just block here. I don't know why they pump here, since it dies because it has Theft Touch. But okay. We play this and we pass. Next turn we go for the rights into Eerie Ultimatum, and it's gonna be a big meme. Oh no, we can't because we have to Triome again, but that's fine. Please don't give up, opponent, okay? Sure. This is a bit annoying. I think we want blue here. We have to take 5 damage here. If possible, I actually would like to play Casualties here. What will we get? Okay, we're gonna lose. Oh, it's hard. I mean, we can still play the rights though. So, I don't know. It will be things into the Eerie Ultimatum. I mean, sure. What suits you? I mean, we definitely have to take 5 damage here. I don't want to lose a land here. Okay. It's gonna be interesting now. Yeah, I think I have to. I don't want to take the 5 damage, but I have to. Interesting card as well. Still think the best play here would be Flash this back. Playing this. And then just press the button and have a lot of fun together. We sadly did not manage to trick the Field of the Dead here. But that's all fine. Did we find something else? Could go for a Mastermind. Or just for a Pulse here. Our plus here. And we'll go for a Mastermind. Found the Mastermind here. So this is what the deck tries to do, and it's a lot of fun when it works. That is why I think it was super crucial to add the Unburial Rites in this type of deck for exactly this situation where I feel like a double combo, right? I mean, you play a 5/5 and suddenly you have your entire graveyard in the battlefield. Definitely an improved version. Super fun. I would block here. Okay, sure, that's no problem. I think I'm gonna block the Obliterator with my Mire Triton, just to get rid of it. And the rest, I mean, I don't mind. I also have Casualty of War here. That's an easy decision. Okay, we got another. We got another Eerie Ultimatum. Well, that's kind of funny. So what I can do here, I can block here, double block here. Wait, Menace, right? You and you. So we would lose the board, right? But we have to sacrifice 2 lands, and then we're just gonna play Unburial Rites again and just do the same again. Which I think is the best play here, just to get rid of the board. I don't mind losing 2 lands here. It's no problem. We can also hardcast it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just have some fun. Sacrifice those 2. We're gonna replay you. Et voila! Et voila! Et voila! Yeah, that was really fun. If this combo works, it's so powerful. And all we have to do is, we have to make sure we get to the point where, I mean, it's mostly about surviving, right? In a best of 1, there are many aggressive decks. We played against aggressive decks, but we had the combo turn 4. So if you play turn 4 a 5/5 with Eerie Ultimatum, it is usually good. It tends to be usually good. So if we hit those 2 cards, it's really, really good. Okay, so we hit 0 so far. And we also can utilize the field with the Eerie Ultimatum. Goose, okay. Some sort of sacrifice deck, I assume. Pass. We also have a Mastermind. If you need to fetch something important, we have double black. But yeah, next time we just go for Rejuvenator. Okay, so this is a sacrifice deck. Probably that plays Bola Citidel. This could be interesting. This could be actually interesting. We want a card. I think we take this one. And yeah, their turn. I'm thinking of what I could get with the Masterminds. I can get a board wipe, since I have double white now. Which could be the strongest card right now. Yeah, now it looks like, because the thing is, against a deck like this, we don't want them to have a Woe Strider in general, because they could play the Bola Citidel, but they were lacking a land here. With this they will get 4 if they have food 5. I think we go for a Tamiyo here. And we do not want to hit the Sphinx, and we do not want to hit the Eerie Ultimatum. And we do not want to call the Rites as well. So we're going to call something completely else. I think we're going to call a Casualty of War here. since we can play it next turn. Okay, we didn't hit anything good. So it's their turn. We will just block. We will just gonna block whatever. But this is not too nice to miss here. We go for Casualty again and we will double block here. Because we really did not want them to play the Citidel. This looks like a Crookie's list here. The one he went 12-2 I think today. Yeah. So the access on 5 mana now. I could also see myself trying to get Armored Ego to remove the Citadel. But we go for Casualties again. We can also go for Languish. It's a hard decision because we can Mire Triton and see if we get the card in the graveyard and then go for Languish, which I think could be correct. Okay, this changes many options now. So we want to hit the Eerie Ultimatum in the graveyard and meanwhile trying to hit Languish. Hit the Languish. Okay, wow, we have multiple options. Scholar into nothing good right now. So we're just going for Languish here. We definitely have to make sure that our opponent is not able to play Bola Citadel next turn. Because then we have a powerful turn. Okay, you can scry. That's totally fine. There we go. Still no Eerie Ultimatum in the graveyard. And 50% of our deck. This is hella fun. And I saw this list. I was like, I want this one. He sent me another one. He sent me a really Striderstone list. It's fun as well. I missed most of the card though, like a clear land destruction deck. This one's just amazing. I saw a lot of potential in this one, especially while adding just like a simple card like this. I'm really considering also trying to find an Armored Ego. If I find a land here, I maybe go for Armored Ego, just to be safe. That's okay. So now we have to make a decision, right? I know they play Bola Citadel. I know they do. And I really need to make sure they cannot play it. So I could minus for field. It's really hard. I would lose Tamiyo though. Do you want to lose Tamiyo? Okay, I think I go for Casualty. This way I get rid of a land and multiple cards. I mean, opponent will just sacrifice this one. But... oh, I just Planeswalker for some reason. I thought I had all the options. Damn. Okay, we go here, here, and here. So we get the opponent off a land here, which gives us more time to set up the next turn. I could have also tried to get Shockland and Armored Ego there, pull the Citadel away, but I think this is the cleaner one. We had some options, right? We could also play Rites, get the card, and just Languish again, but this looks way better. I definitely have to be careful with the library, but we have solutions. We have solutions that we don't mill. Looking into the graveyard, 5 lands. Okay, sure. No problem. I will do it again and play the Casualties again here. So, let's go for this. You just have to make sure opponent doesn't have too many lands. Replaying Casualties is huge. Land. Yeah, there's just no way. If we keep opponent off 6 mana, they can never play the Bola Citidel, which was clearly waiting in their hand. Okay. Game 3. So the games work really well so far, and I have a lot of fun with this deck. Let's see where we can bring this. So far we had John Citidel and Mono Black, and no Goblin or Elf yet. I wonder how we deal against those type of decks. Definitely something I wonder. We have lands with 1 blue. It's not too nice to have things in the hand, but I still think this is a keep. We can still hit another Scholar in the graveyard with the Triton. So I would say this is a keep. This would be Triumph into Chapel or Catacomb, depending on what I draw. Okay. We see Blood Crypt here. Could be Rakdos, something aggressive. Could be also Goblin. Remorse. Oh, I wonder what the opponent takes here. Please not the Mire Triton. Please not the Mire Triton. I mean, Unburial Rites sucks as well, but please not the Mire Triton. Okay, yeah, I was hoping they take things, but yeah, they did not. We go with this one into Mire Triton. Agonizing Remorse in the best of 1 seems kinda odd to me, but well, that's what it is. Bad hit here, really bad hit. Now I'm already thinking how to improve this deck even more. Chandra, okay, we take damage here. Bringing in this one. Stitch of Supply, filling the graveyard. Bad fill. We don't care too much about like a race or anything here. We just want to make sure that we survive, so that we get to our lands, since we have a Field of the Dead as well. Could this be Burn? Like, there used to be a deck called Rakdos Burn. Maybe it's something like this. Claim? Oh no, don't use it. We want to sacrifice this. Okay, please, don't kill this. We want to kill this. Don't sacrifice it. So sad. Pyromance. Oh, I saw this deck before. It plays Crocs as well. It's like this. It's hard to describe this deck. It plays a lot from graveyard. It's basically Rakdos spell with discards. I think that's the best way to describe it. I mean, I think they plus here. I mean, they can Remorse, but I would lose my Scholar if they Remorse. Okay. Priest. Okay. We're just gonna attack. We have green black, so we're gonna play a Crypt tapped and say go. We're definitely gonna kill the priest if we have. Oh, this is sorcery, right? Oopsie. Let's hope they don't have a Ghost Rider. Our graveyard doesn't have anything good right now. That's a bit of a problem. Decks like this definitely work well in best of 1 as well. Okay. Yeah, that's a huge mistake because they're gonna play 2-1-1 and we're gonna lose a lot here. A lot. I totally forgot about Maelstrom. That's the historic noob in me that makes those type of mistakes, especially at a time like this. Oh yeah, that's okay. I wonder if we can make it to this number and fill our graveyard more. Damage, damage. More damage, draw card. Yeah, that's a problem. We need to get rid of this. That's a huge problem. Use it now? Okay. So, I need to get rid of the priest, but Chandra and Mayhem is just so strong. So strong. 3, Pyromancer, okay. Languish would be a card. Wow, the hits are really bad. I still have to go for this one. If they have the Woodland Rites here, I made a mistake playing the Triton first. But Priest has to go. Priest is their card draw. They have a castle though. Shock, okay. So we take a lot of damage here, so we definitely want a board wipe. But this was just some really bad hits here. Really, really bad hits. I'm gonna draw a card here. Even if you play the Scholar, we do not have anything good here right now. Variety in Magic here. That's a lot of damage. I think we only have 1 out. Yeah, we have like 1 out now. We go on 5. That's not out, so that's over. So no board wipe, not a single good hit with our mill. That's hard. That's hard, but this can happen, right? So 2 wins so far, and 1 lose. Let's keep this up. I mean, the chances not to get a single good card in the graveyard is kinda low, and the opponent plays a really fast deck. I maybe made like 2 small mistakes, but they were not. I mean, one mistake I would say was bigger, gave them some momentum. Forgetting like that card is an instant, a sorcery, not an instant, definitely was a bit painful. So let's see. That's a keep. Removal. Underrealm Lich maybe should be replaced here. It's a good card. It's a good card, but I think now when I have it on my hand, it doesn't feel too good. Maldur. Interesting. I'm liking the pulses though. I'm really liking the pulses. Wow, this is a shrine deck. That's cool. We don't mind though. Shrine we don't mind, I think. That's a good shrine. It's definitely a good shrine. Let's ramp a bit. We have this one. We want the blue. So they get 2 mana here. They ramp pretty heavy. I have pulses though to deal with shrines if I have to. But I think it's more important to hit our own combo now, so maybe I just play the Lich here. 2 white. Could they play? Okay, so this one I want to remove though. I have to play the pulse. This one has to go 100%. Cannot let them have more shrines and like finding shrines each turn. I need to read this one shortly. That's heavy. I do not like this one either. I can live with the other ones, but not with this one. Let's go for this. So they have 2 cards left. Worst case scenario, we would play this card again and get a Pulse. Okay. This one I can live with. I think here I will lose the Mastermind. And I will choose one outside, I guess. Okay, I think we go with Helliot's Intervention here. Just to deal with the shrines. Nothing, okay. And go. So next turn we try to get rid of the shrines. I don't mind losing the life here. And Skola gives us another Mastermind, which is nice as well. So this will be free. 1, 2, 3. If they have a counter here on hand, I would be surprised, but yeah. Sometimes you just need to fetch the correct card to deal with opponent's strategy, and Helliot's Intervention is definitely one of those cards. So that worked well against Shrine. Let's go to the next one. Really their worst field, I have to say. We had Mono Black, Shrine, Rakdos, Spells, Enchant. It's pretty cool, this event. Lisa Tolsky. So far, I like to play against multiple type of decks and not always the same. It's a keep. It is a keep. I wish there would be not a tap land here, but this hand can develop to something really good. Tamiyo's nice. Stitch's Supplier's nice. We have a removal. It will be all a little bit delayed, but we are on the play. Mono Blue Tempo maybe. Counters are not so fun. Okay, this is not the best. Can you imagine them playing just Tempo here? And we draw the big spell. Please block it. Interesting choice. Oh yeah, no, makes sense. Totally forgot that we lose all the abilities here. At this point, I don't think we have a chance anymore. This is definitely a deck we do not want to face. If you play combo and you play against a deck like this, it's super hard. We have to try to remove this. We cannot give them too much advantage. Obviously, they have a counter. They play Mono Blue Tempo, which is a really... yeah, sure. I mean, at one point, they have to lose their counters. Okay, another one. So that's 2 cards now. There's not much we can do. You basically need to play multiple removal spell to deal with this. I have to slam it. It gets countered, but I have to slam it. There's not much we can do. And if they have one more counter, they just win. So it's kind of over here at this point. It doesn't even matter what we play. There's a counter. I just knew it, so usually you should play those creatures to block, right? But I was like 100% sure they had a counter here. Which, yeah, can happen. Mono Blue is definitely not a deck for this specific deck here, but yeah, let's go to the next one. Again, another archetype here. Really cool. Best of one is so fast. It's like, do you have a coin flip and then you have a hand and you need to decide without having any knowledge. It feels way more random than I'm used to since I play best of 3. But I like the variety, and I definitely see the appeal on playing this type of event. Again, I think this is a keep. We have a Supplier, we have a Reanimate, and we have Casualty. Opponent starts though, which is a bit annoying, but this would be the Tomb first into Supplier. If they play Ratten, Now I have to make a decision. Now I have to... Oh, this is not good. I wish this would be in the graveyard. Okay, I think it is worth since we can block a damage here. Not what we were looking for. I'll maybe block here. That's the easiest block ever. They could play light up the stage. You will never let this through. If you can trade with the Stitch Supplier, you're happy. That was not the best one either. We draw the... Usually we want those cards in the graveyard and those cards on our hand. So, it's not what we wanted. But no turn 2 drop, which is nice. Gobo. Searching for a Gobo. We lost one Languish. Let's see. This one, interesting. Now it's about hoping to survive and finding an answer. We have a really unlucky draw here. Found something, but it's not good. I will definitely block. Okay, wow. Languish off the top. Languish, Languish, Languish. Okay, we tried. Okay, I think it is better to play more board wipes than the Underrealm Lich. Because now we lost the game. But we let them finish. Okay. No blocks here. But we're gonna die our own. I think this is a good kamikaze end here. I see there's lots of improvement in this deck, but then it's best of one and you face so many archetypes. But it was super fun, and I hope you enjoyed this a lot. I think the combo is really cool, and we managed to get the combo out. So it definitely speaks for the deck, and if you just look for a fun deck, this is definitely the way to go. So yeah, bye everyone.
What's going on, YouTube? I actually have DanyTLaw on the phone. What's going on, Danny?
It's going good. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for showing me this cool deck.
Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, plug your channel and everything.
Yeah, my name is DanyTLaw, which is also the name I stream on the Twitch. I also do YouTube, mostly best of 3 standard. Sometimes I branch out historic, so it's always cool to play those type of events. And yeah, that's I think what I do, just high mythic kind of stuff.
Yeah, like top 10. You're a monster.
Yeah, this month not. Usually yes, but this month no time, but I try. I will try maybe the last week again.
As always.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm taking a look at both of the decks here. Mine's on the left and Danny's is on the right. So it looks like, let's see. Did you take out, let's see, oh, you left in the Maelstrom Pulses, yeah. Left in the Mire Tritons and the Suppliers and the Elvish Rejuvenators. Left in the Tamiyos, Masterminds. Did you add an additional oh no, you took out one of the Languishes. Why would you take out one of the Languishes?
Yeah, maybe it was a mistake. I was not sure how fast the format is, but it was not the problem of losing in the events.
Mm-hmm.
But now, after seeing how the best of one format works, I will play 4 Languish again.
Okay.
Even more removals, but yeah, I think the biggest change I did was adding the Unburial Rites.
Yeah, that was actually in our deck initially, and it changed away from Unburial Rites. Why did you add that back in specifically?
I was just scared of milling the wrong cards away, and you want to play Scholar of the Lost Trove, right, to get a huge spell out of your graveyard. So if we have like 8 mill cards in turn 1 and turn 2 and hit the rights, we can play Scholar turn 4. And it happened twice in this event, so you will see in the video where we just go Scholar turn 4 and play Eerie Ultimatum as well. So I think turn 4 had like 10 lands and the entire board just because of the rights. It was really fun. I think it was the first game. I was like, that was a good ad.
Yeah, but does Eerie Ultimatum actually get you anything at that point in time? Because I would feel Unburial Rites into Scholar and then Eerie Ultimatum, you still wouldn't have very much in your graveyard for that to...
I mean, it gives you something. Let's say you have a Stitch Supplier, right? And the Mire Triton. The max you get out of those 2 cards, if you block with the Supplier, is 8 cards. Which is not bad. I mean, you get lands, you get like 4 lands,
yeah,
you get
but
your Stitch Supplier back. I mean, you get a full board state.
But one of them is Unburial Rites, and one of them is the Eerie Ultimatum, and one of them is the Scholar. So technically, it's a maximum of 5 if you have no other spells in there.
Yeah, I have to check again how it went down. Maybe it was turn 5, but I got a lot of value. I mean, just having a 5/5 creature and ramp, or like a board state turn 4, I think is way better. Even just later on, let's say turn 5 or turn 6, you have more in your graveyard. I think just having the option to recast a Scholar from your graveyard if you mill down all your Scholars, you have like this, like, let's say, security where you're still able to cast Scholar without having to use Mastermind and get some tricks out, or ramping to 7 to use Eerie Ultimatum.
That's fair. Interesting.
Whenever I cast it, I won.
Really?
Whenever I casted rights, I won the game.
Interesting. All right. Well, maybe I'll actually give it a try, because a bunch of people in chat were actually recommending it, and I just kept pushing for basically the same thing I said. I'm like, I don't think it's really going to be all that great, because if we end up milling it, you know, we're not going to get much value out of it. And I didn't think, like, I would rather have an Underrealm Lich, which is, it looks like you took one of those out as well.
I would take all of them out.
What?
Yeah. This card is 5 mana, 4/3. It's just, dude, Historic is so fast. There's no world where you can ever play a creature that comes into play and does nothing for 5 mana. It's just not. There's no world. I mean, maybe in a best of 1 fun scenario, but if I have to tune this deck better, this is the worst card by far.
Interesting.
I would remove that one.
I've had so much success with it, especially when you're trying to self-mill with Eerie Ultimatum. It seems to be extremely powerful, mainly because it can also be indestructible, and with the addition of a lot of the mill cards that happen with Jumpstart, it prevents you from getting milled completely. Because you never actually draw a card with it. It's a replacement effect.
That is true, but the mill, I'm not scared about mill, since you have Mastermind's acquisition and you have like the clear the mind and chase in the sideboard, so I'm not too scared about this. I just don't want to pay 5 mana for a card that does nothing when it comes in, and usually you're dead. Also, Languish is a removal that doesn't care about indestructible right now, so the card got even worse. I think the card never saw play in Standard for a reason, and that was the reason I just explained. So in an even faster format right now in Historic, I cannot see this card being played in the deck.
That is interesting. I've had a lot of luck with it. That's why.
I mean, if you say luck, right? Then maybe, yeah. But just on paper, just on like logic and paper, right? It's definitely the worst card.
I can see that. Yeah, I guess I can see how it would be the worst card. I just don't know what else I would put in its place. Maybe a Cavalier of Thorns instead of those? That
Cavalier
wouldn't be...
is interesting. I was thinking of the Enchantment Tiramet as well.
Which one is that?
It's the 3 mana black enchantment Tiramet. Something, let me shortly check.
I don't recall what that is.
It is called Timuret Calls the Dead. It's a saga. 3 mana, saga 1 and 2 mill 3 cards. Then you can exile a creature on the enchantment and put the 2/2 zombie in. And then the third chapter is you gain X life for each zombie you control. And this works really well with the Mire Triton and the Supplier, since it gives you life on turn 3. Sometimes you on the third chapter, and you mill a bunch, and you mill a bunch.
Yeah, because
So
both of those are zombies. It's true.
exactly, and you mill way more. And I just don't think you want to play a card turn 5 to get one card next turn in the graveyard. I think you want to mill way earlier.
Well, you
because
would
if
get
mill,
2 turns in the graveyard, but yeah, I
yeah,
get
you
what you're
get 2
saying.
turns. And with the rights, you can actually line this up perfectly, right? Turn 1 Stitcher, Mire Triton. Turn 3 you have another mill effect. So you have 3 mill effects on curve, combined with maybe a rights in the graveyard, and the Scholar gives you that ability to use the Scholar, right? And you get a double mill effect. So then the rights would be even more effective because you have like 6, depending if you block with the Supplier, but around 12 to 16 cards in your graveyard, which is really nice. Turn 4.
Yeah, that can be pretty insane. One of the things that I've used with Eerie Ultimatum in the past, I've gone through and done permanents to where I only have maybe a maximum of 3 of each one, 2 or 3 of each one, just so that you get maximum value from when you're milling everything from your library. Is that something you considered at all?
Yeah, I think this is smart and best of 1 for sure. And just in general, with Eerie Ultimatum, if you cheated or not cheated, since you also have a bit of ramp, I think it's definitely wise to have like a 3 off of the permanents, 2 or 3 off of the permanents, except the key cards that mill you, right?
See, even then, if we add that enchantment, that could help with it, because that's a 3 mana, you said?
3 mana, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we could take out a Stitcher Supplier, a Mire Triton, and add in a couple of those. We could take out an Elvish Rejuvenator to add in a Gift Paradise.
I think you can actually remove the Elvish Rejuvenator. It's really nice if you play Field of the Dead, right? I can see the reasoning there to have like this additional win con / protection. But it's not like a card you want to play in a deck like this, even though you want to ramp into the big spells, right? But if you have rights and additional mill, you have an alternative way to do it.
Yeah. The only real reason I had it in there was because it was a permanent and it did add mill, and it was a blocker because I don't have much removal. I only had 4 Languish, and that was it. And so having the Stitcher Supplier as a blocker and the Mire Triton as a blocker, a lot of times people didn't even swing into those.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know if that's even necessary.
I would keep them as a 4. That is so key. You always want to have them 1/2 if possible. And I would prefer the enchantment over the Elvish Rejuvenator turn 3.
Okay. So we might be able to do 2 of those enchantments on turn 3, take out 2 of the Rejuvenators, take out... See, I would almost add in 2 of the Cavalier of Thorns and leave in 2 of the Liches, because I think having 2 of each can be extremely powerful.
I like the Cavalier of Thorns, but I really did not like the Lich. Just it doesn't do any. The Cavalier is a 5 mana. That's a 5/6.
5 mana do nothing.
That ramps you. So it basically comes into play. It fills your graveyard immediately. Plus, it ramps you a land, which is nice if you field. So even if it dies, it did something. Where the Lick did nothing, right? And it's more powerful.
Yeah, it can also get you a card at the top of your library that you really need from your graveyard, like the Eerie Ultimatum that you need, or whatever it is. Yeah, because that's what I had in the past. I used to run Cavalier of Thorns and Underrealm Lich. Having both of them seemed very powerful just because they did similar things. And the fact that when you're running Eerie Ultimatum, you can get both of them back from your graveyard and not just one of them.
Yeah, I just think the Cavalier is the more powerful card in general.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if the mana base, though. That's the thing that would concern me there a little bit.
Yeah, because there's almost no green in the deck outside of the very top end. Most of it's black.
Exactly.
So that's something I would definitely have to work on. Did you change anything in sideboard?
I only changed 1 card. I added the Unmoored Ego instead of that 4/8 flying dinosaur. I have the same problem with the dinosaur.
Zatalpa, it does nothing.
Yeah. It comes into play. imagine Mastermind that card, play it and you lose 2 turns, right? And then
Yeah,
they remove it. Nice.
it feels bad. They would have to exile it, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's still
Yeah.
it feels awkward. The rest, there's some mimic cards in the sideboard like Omnisense and Ulamog, but I was like, well, they may be fun, so let them. I mean,
Mhm.
I would definitely have more situational cards in sideboard, like even like spot removal, which is something I need in a like even a Maelstrom Pulse I would add in the sideboard. Just do if I have to use my 2, then I have still a 3rd one, or just some stuff like this, right? But the rest I think was good in the sideboard.
Interesting.
Yeah, mana base I didn't check too much, but it lined up very well.
Yeah,
when
the
I checked
mana
the
base was
numbers, it
very
looked
powerful.
fine. Yeah, definitely looked fine. But
Cool.
yeah, I like the deck idea. I like the idea. That's why I choose this one. Because I was working on a Scholar deck myself today, a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then you sent me one. I was like, wow, that's cool.
What
cool.
were you doing with your Scholar deck?
I was actually working on a Luca list.
Oh, you would.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's actually kind of funny. So what spells were you casting with it?
Yeah, I used the difference with my deck and yours is you mill the deck right with the Triton, and it's really fast and it's really impressive. In my deck, I played the Jeskai Ultimatum and I think another Ultimatum as well, and it's a Planeswalker control deck. And Teferi 4 and cards like this, so like Narset 4, they give you the options to draw and discard, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
So turn 4, you want to discard one of your big spells.
And
then turn 5, you want to Scholar int, right? You go Luca minus Scholar, and then you play the big spell. And then you have so much advantage that usually the game is over.
Did you ever do any of the, what is it, the red, white, and green ultimatum? The one that destroys all permanents the opponent controls?
The mod, you have one of them in the deck there as well.
That one's so good. I'm a huge fan of that one. It's just really hard to work it into a deck, but I think with Scholar it may be pretty decent to be able to put in there because it's essentially free and you can swing in pretty hard with it at that point.
Yeah, you're just always scared that you cannot play a certain spell, right? If you don't have the mana. But that's why I if I played, I would play it as a 1 and then just make sure I have enough discard cards, like draw discard effects to get it in the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly, which is why you have the Teferi and the Narset.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
Still
cool.
not sure how it is, but I have to test more. I had not so much time recently.
Oh yeah, it happens. Happens to all of us.
Yeah. I actually wanted to play too, and then I got a call and I had to cancel the game and lost, and like it happened a lot recently.
Oh dang.
I could not really play and sit down.
Well, I'm glad you got a chance to actually play the deck. It's really interesting.
It took me. I mean, it's 5 a.m, right?
Oh my gosh!
No one calls me at this time, right? So I knew it's perfect. I have to do it late, but I tell you I will do it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you trying out the deck. I really do. Did you have anything else to say to everybody?
Check out all the content that Striderstone does. He's a really cool lad. I enjoy watching him, and we know each other like for over a year now, right?
Something like that. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, so definitely check out his Twitch as well.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Thank you. Thanks for the shout out.
Sure, you know me. I'm a shout out man.
I know, me too. It happens. Cool. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate you coming on. This is the first time we're changing up the series a bit to get some of the streamers actually on here to go over the deck changes. So I do actually think that this may be the way we do it going forward. And you are on the short list of people that are willing to do this. So I might ask you to do this maybe once a month, once every month and a half. So I hope to see you on again.
Yeah, sure. If you always send me cool decks like this, I'm in.
Yeah, it will always be random decks like this.
And you know, I don't have all the old cards. You always have to keep this in mind.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So the other deck was like, I think it's a bit harder for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. But I'll have like a giant list of decks for you to choose from, so you could just choose from whatever one you have the cards for, or whatever one looks best or most fun.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool. Well, yeah, I will see you next time. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks. No problem.
Yo, what up, YouTube? Yeah, we going here, Strider. Come on. You didn't really think that I was that type of person, did you? Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you were even a little bit entertained by this video, please make sure to let me know down below. And if you have anything that you would like to see next, go ahead and leave that there too. And make sure to check out my live stream 5 days a week, every day except Sunday and Thursday. Stream times down below.